Hello there everyone, welcome back. I'm back into my old skin again. Good to be back in that. Anyway, we're continuing with the Redpower 2 mod review stuff. And the first thing we're going to be looking at this time is World. Now this adds a bunch of new ores to the world. There's Sapphire, Emerald, Ruby, Silver, Tin, Copper, Nicolite, and Tungsten. And we're gonna hop into survival for a bit. Now these gems, you cannot harvest them with a stone pick. Copper, tin, and silver you can. Not Nicolite, and not tungsten. To harvest the rest, you need iron. And when you harvest the ores, the gems, they drop their items. We don't need those right now. Nicolite drops like redstone, you get a bunch of powder. Tungsten, you get tungsten ore. It doesn't do anything. You can't smelt it, you can't craft with it. Really, it's an item that would make a good currency before they add emeralds in vanilla. Now, because you get the item from the gems and the Nicolite, you can use fortune on them. And you'll get a lot more. I don't know if you actually get more for Nicolite or not. I think you do, though. In fact, let's switch back to this for a moment. I think the max drop is supposed to be 5. So that's 20. It should be 60 at the most, I think. Yeah, I think fortune does cause a lot more to drop. For Nicolite anyway. Oh, and because I am using NEI, I went ahead and made an impossible enchantment of Fortune 10. Just because I'm curious. That's a lot of rubies. Anyway, with this extra ore, you can create a bunch of new things. But first, you have to smelt it. That's not the right furnace. And you just smelt it in a regular furnace and you get the various ingots, tin, copper, silver, you know, all that basic stuff. I do not have anything in here. Just gonna toss junk. Oh. While I'm here. Let's get some sticks. Where's the sticks at? Don't worry, I'll get to all the other stuff eventually. You can use the gems to create tools. They have the same level of effect as diamonds, but 1/3 of the durability. So, shovel, hoe, axe, pick. And sword. Now, out of all the new ores, I think silver is going to be one of the more important ones that you want to know about. Mostly because it lets you craft things such as this. This is a battery box, and these are solar panels. But I'll get to those in a moment. You're about to hear a ding in a moment because the video I am rendering is just about done. Alright, so let's get rid of this junk. So we have copper, silver, and tin. Now, most of the stuff is useless by itself and has to be crafted with something else. In fact, oh, before we get too far into this, oh, that's way too much sand. I'm going to take some of this coal here. Now you can take sand and coal and smelt it together in an alloy furnace. There's the ding. Now what do you get from this? You get a silicone bowl. Now what is a silicone bowl? It is a thing used to create wafers. And in order to create wafers, you need to get a diamond saw. Where's that saw at? It is so far down in the list. There we go. And a diamond handsaw you create similar to an iron handsaw, but 2 diamonds instead of all iron. So take your silicone bowl in a crafting grid with the handsaw and saw it up into wafers. Now, what good are these wafers, you might be asking? Well, you can take them with nickelite. Let's get a full stack of that. And smelt it in an alloy furnace, and you will get blue doped wafers. Let's go ahead and let this smelt a little bit. Alright, that's enough of that. Now you get blue doped wafers if you smelt it with nickelite, but if you smelt it with red doped iron redstone, you get red doped wafers. Like that. And it takes 4 powder per wafer in order to make it doped. I need a little bit more nickel. Actually, I need to get the coal back. Where's my coal? I got rid of my coal. Why did I do that? So anyway, you get red doped wafer with redstone, and that's all fine and dandy. But if you smelt nickelite with silver in an alloy furnace, you get a blue alloy ingot. Like so. And that's the only way you can get blue alloy ingots. There's also another way of getting red alloy ingots, like I showed you in the previous one, and that's by using copper ingots instead. So you do not have to use up all your iron to make the wires. Now, tin, I do not believe you can smelt it at all. But that's fine. We don't need that ingot. Now, one of the first things you can do with this blue alloy ingot is surround it with blue doped wafers, and you'll get solar panels. However, since I have a whole bunch, I'm not going to craft that. Let's go ahead and... Other thing you can do with the blue alloy ingot is make wire, which is done the same way as making a an insulated, no, coated, Yeah, coated redstone, red alloy wire. You know what I'm talking about. I really hope you know what I'm talking about, because I don't. You also use blue alloy ingots in making a whole bunch of different machinery, which we are going to go ahead and make a blue electric alloy furnace and a blue electric furnace. Now, in order to do that, we're going to need one more. Here we go. Alright, let's go ahead and get some wires. And we're going to need clay and brick. 5 bricks. Where's the clay at? 5 clay. I think that we need... Oops. Yeah, we do. So the ingots, and then the material. There's your blue electric furnace, and your blue alloy furnace. We're going to go ahead and take these outside. And we're just going to set a couple down like so. Now you don't have to have it set down like that. You could run a wire and plop it down right there, but there's not really too much point in doing that. Mostly you would use a wire to connect your solar field to where you're having your machines at. Like if you have a solar field up on the surface and you are working in a cave. Because the nice thing about these is that they just have to touch another blue electric item and it will transmit blue electricity through the entire network. See, it is fully charged. This is what it looks like when it doesn't have any power. You can even set up like this and it will draw power. But we do not need that there. Now the nice thing about these is that 1, they do not use any coal, so you can use your coal in order to make wafers. 2, they work faster than coal powered. And we're going to grab a couple copper ingots here, and if you take 3 copper ingots and a tin ingot, you can get brass, which is what is sitting right here. And you get 4 for all 4 ingots that you use, which is nice. It's lossless. Sort of. You have to use power, I guess. Now, what do you use brass ingots for? Well, if I get a little bit of glass... No, I'm out. Actually, I'm going to get the crafting table out here too. There's glass and brass. You get pneumatic tubes. Now, pneumatic tubes is, well, if you've used Buildcraft at all, it functions similar to that. Excuse me. I'm a little bit burpy all of a sudden. So we're going to grab a transposer here, which... Oops. Recipe. Uses a piston, 5 cobble, 2 wood, and a bit of redstone, and that makes a transposer. And I'm going to get a lever as well. And I've already got a whole bunch of tubes set up to show you what this does. Now, a transposer will suck an item in front of it into a tube network, like this. And it'll send it down the pipes to the nearest available chest. Now, the reason it did not go down this pipe is this is a restriction tube. And then items will not go down it unless it is the only option, it is the same as sending an item over 5,000 blocks. Now, if I were to break the tube here, it would opt for going down this tube because it is the only route it has. Let's grab these back. Now, if there is no route, a transposer will just hold the item in it until a route becomes available. Like so. Now, there are other types of tubes that you can have. One is a restriction tube, which, if I can get to my ingots, there we go, is made by doing this. You can also make a redstone tube, which will transmit a redstone signal through the tube network, but only along redstone pipes. Now, I'll be right back. I have to go somewhere quick. Alright, I am back. Got a little bit of supper here now. Tomato soup and grilled cheese. I love it. And before we continue on with the tubes and stuff, there's a few other things about the world I forgot to mention. Let me get some bone meal quick. Alright, so first thing, you can take stick and cobblestone and make a sickle. Now you can do this with all other things to make tools. And what it does... Oh, ignore any of the bushes, because that is from Harvestcraft. I'll get to that later. Anyway, what it does is it allows you to... let me switch over. Harvest everything in an area at once. And since I have Harvestcraft installed, you're not going to see a whole bunch else other than the Harvestcraft stuff. In fact, let's get rid of all of it. You don't need to know anything about this yet. We're talking about Redpower. Alright, that's all gone. And let's just say you have a large field. Anyway, you get the idea. Large field. Everything's all grown. Just take your sickle. And boom! Everything's harvested. And 1, 2, 3, 4. A 5x5 area from where you hit, I believe, is what it is. So very handy for farming if you like to go and do things manually. Excuse me. Let's get that out of here. There's also a thing called flax. And this does require hydrated soil, so I'm going to need a bucket of water. There we go. And we'll let that hydrate. There's also things called volcanoes, which you can go and harvest basalt from. Let's switch over. That's not far enough. Yeah, basalt. You get basalt from volcanoes, but it comes in the form of basalt cobblestone, which you can take, put into a furnace, and smelt back into smooth basalt. Like that. And it works pretty much exactly like cobblestone and stone. You can turn it into basalt brick. There's also marble, which you find in huge caves. And you can take marble and make marble brick out of it. Very handy. Very nice looking. It's exactly what my restaurant's made out of. There's also rubber tree, which grows really huge and has a trunk like this. And when you go to turn rubber wood into wood, you don't get wood, you just get sticks. Alright, we have some hydrated soil now, so let's go ahead and plant the flax. Now flax grows up to 2 tall. You can go ahead and knock the tops off, but that will not do much of anything because the bombs will not grow back. And of course you can harvest like that. And you get flax seeds and string. Now, string, of course, you can make it into wool and all other fun things. But flax seeds have another use. Back to Oops. I actually want to switch to recipe mode quick. Now, flax seeds you can take with a paint can and dye of any color, and you can get paint. Now, how do you make a paint can? Well, you take tin plates, which is made by smelting iron and tin. You get 4 of them. Now we're just gonna cheat quick. Paint. Now, paintbrush you get by combining a stick and a type of wool, and you get a plain paintbrush. Then you can add color to the paintbrush by dipping it in a can of paint. Now, what is the point of all this paint? Well, cheat mode quick. You can take a paintbrush and you can paint tubes. Now, why would I want to paint tubes? I would want to paint tubes because that is not what I want. Okay, it's just called sorting machine. Yeah, I want R here. You need the paint in order to make a sorting machine effective. And of course, in order to make a sorting machine, you're going to need to make a filter first. So let's go ahead and make one of those. See, I need to switch over to creative mode again. I need a piston. I need to remember these recipes. Cobblestone, red doped wafer, gold. 5 cobble. Where's the gold ingots at? Down further. And gold ingots. Oh, wait. Oh, I had everything. What did I do that for? So here we go. Filter. Now these things do work on their own, I believe. Yep, they can filter things. I do not know how it works really though. Let me check the website quick, see if it tells me anything. Filter, filter, filter. See, similar to transposer, but are capable of sucking full stacks from any container. Right-clicking a filter opens a GUI. Place stacks of items in its inventory, and a filter will only accept stacks of that type and number of items. Okay, so basically, I can put 6 flax seeds in there. Then I'll throw a stack of 16 there, and... Huh. What if I only throw 1? Well, that's not quite right. It says something about containers. Maybe if I put the flax in the container? Yes, that's how it works. Since there's only 6 flax seeds in there, it only sucked 6 flax seeds out of the container. Fairly handy. Alright, let's get rid of that. See, I need iron now, and a blue alloy ingot. So let's just go to ingots. 1 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Blue alloy. Red doped wafers, and the filter. And that makes a sorting machine. Now, sorting machines are fairly complex, and they do require power. So we're going to go ahead and connect this to our power network. There we go. Now it's getting power. Well, it will be getting power. There we go. Power. I beat the power over here. It doesn't make any sense, but I did it. Now, sorting machines you can use to assign items up to 5 to a single color. I guess not really up to 5, because you can have the same color in multiple slots, but you can have up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 different colors. And anything that does not have a color will just go wherever. So it's useful to have another sorting machine to send items to. And there's several different modes. I do not really know what the difference is off the top of my head. I'm going to find the sorting machine in here. There it is. Let's see. The first one is any stack sequential. The slider moves from column to column and waits until it receives any single item in that column before moving to the next. Okay. The next one is all stack sequential. The sliders move from column to column and waits until it receives all the items in that column before moving to the next. This one is random all stack. Same as previous mode, but without moving the slider. This one is any item will pull any of the items, starting with those in the top left of the connected inventory. And the final one, any item with default route. Same as previous mode, except a default color can be set for unmatched items below the mode setting. So I think this one will let you assign a color to the sorting machine that does not have any colors to it, and it will send it to that area. So we'll do this, get another type of paintbrush. We'll go with white. And just because I'm lazy, we're going to do white for here too. And we'll tell it blue doped wafers are white. And here we'll tell it Nicolite's green. Of course, this also needs power, so... Actually, we need to leave that open. There we go. Weirdly done, but it's got power now. Dawn, damn it. There we go. Power's good. Now, we're gonna need a chest quick. We're gonna toss wafers and Nicolite in here, and we'll split them up like that. Now, this doesn't run until it gets a redstone signal. Of course, doing this manually, you might as well be going over to the chest and doing it yourself. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a timer to it. Fires every second, and we can turn it off. Or on. This is going to keep on going until it's out of Nicolite. Because as you can see, as you can see, it was taking only the Nicolite because it did not know what to do with the did not know what to do with the blue doped wafers. As soon as it was done sorting the things that it does know what to do with, it sent the things it didn't know what to do with to the next sorting machine. However, since it sent it in a stack, it sorted it all at once, which is really quite handy. Actually, I'm pretty sure I did not do this right, because I don't think it should have sent it all at once like that. So we're going to move on to the next thing. Actually, we're not going to move on to the next thing. We're past half an hour, and I'm going to start rendering this one. Then we'll move on to the next thing in the next part. So, I will see you then. Take care.